Some people,
Brutal. Just brutal.
Some
I'm going to cut you off. That was
some
awful.
people on the boards and everywhere seem to be, I don't know, shocked or something. I don't know what's shocking about this. It turned out about like a lot of games could have. Rutgers could have turned out this way, certainly. Even Akron could have turned out this way
Right.
because there are real problems on this team that aren't getting solved, and now we got a couple of new ones, really.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things that, I mean, even though they only scored 13 points, they scored in the first 3 drives, and then they just did nothing as Michigan figured out what they were going to do. The last 9 possessions, they scored -2 points. They couldn't do anything, and I just, we talked about this earlier. I know it was a narrow margin, but Penn State's defense had control of this game, and there were 2 mistakes in the second half that they absolutely could not make, and it turned the game Michigan's favor. I'll never understand why they didn't play to the strength of their team and try and win the game 13-10. The fake punt and the Hackenberg interception, I just thought they were both ridiculous, and I think Penn State is probably kicking themselves over the way they kind of handled themselves in the second half.
Yeah, I didn't have any problem with the concept of the fake punt, and we talked about this during
Right.
the game, but that play with 11 yards to go, are you counting on getting it with a running play, with a rookie, with a freshman,
Yeah.
with 11 yards to go on a running play?
Yeah, and I'm just saying,
And you were saying, why do it anyway?
the
When your
defense
defense is
was
playing
playing well,
well,
and
protect the 3-point lead.
gave them momentum. It changed field position. They were pinned. The next drive, Hackenberg on 3rd and 4. Look, I know the guy's talented. I'll never know what he was thinking when he tried to force that ball across the field to Chris Godwin that had no chance.
Well,
intercepted, tie ball game, and that was it.
Which brings us to our next point about what's really troubling about this game. The post game, Franklin pointed up, and I asked about both Hackenberg and Lewis, and
Lewis
pressed
played
him
sparingly in this
about
game.
Geno Lewis.
Yeah.
Hackenberg, he admits, is frustrated, and he thought the interception was partly kind of getting into bad habits, however that could be stressed, being beat up, 6
Yeah.
more sacks today.
Right.
He's got 20 for the season. That's on a pace for 40,
Right.
which is whopping. That's a big total.
But it turns out Lewis wasn't hurt, right?
So Hackenberg makes a bad throw, okay, and his body language is kind of slouching. That's not good. But what's really not good is Geno Lewis. Apparently, there's nothing really wrong with him,
Yeah.
except Franklin said, well, his practice habits
Practice
are bad.
and not grading out well on
Not grading out
film.
well on the film. This is the 3rd leading receiver.
This is also the guy that saved them against UCF
Yeah.
and Rutgers with help from Hackenberg.
Well, maybe he's trying to, in fairness, maybe he's trying to make some point. But boy,
Either
if
you
you're going
play
to
him or
make
you
it,
don't, yeah.
if you're going to make the point, do you play him? Do you not play him?
Yeah.
You play him a little bit? I don't understand that.
Really a troubling thing. The other thing that we'll talk to, probably write about and talk about this week is the body language between Hackenberg and Donovan on the sideline was not great. I'm not saying there's a disconnect, but they were not communicating well at all. There were no adjustments being made, and this offense is moving backward.
And
They're not moving forward.
This is what we said in August.
Yeah.
This is what we said in August of what an offensive line that's dysfunctional can do to you.
Right.
It beats up your quarterback. It can piss off the defense because they
And I would be
get,
really ticked if I was a defense
because they
right
can
now.
get really frustrated and sometimes be on the field too long. They weren't really tonight, but all sorts of bad things can happen with a dysfunctional offensive line, and this offensive line isn't getting any better.
Yeah.
It's limiting the play calling. It's limiting what the offense can do,
Yeah.
and they can't do much anyway.
Yeah, at this point in the season, real quick, I just think if the defense is your strength, you know it's your strength, you try and help your defense. You don't call the game, and you don't make plays, and you got to be smart enough not to take chances if you have a lead in the second half. And Penn State didn't do it; they deserve to lose.
It's old school football. They could have lost a couple of these games.
Yeah.
And they lost this one, and they deserve to lose it, even
Yes.
though they could have easily won.
Right, has to be frustrating.
They're 4-2, and they've got another bye week to stew on this thing. And
Joey Bosa's coming, baby.
this bye week better be more productive than the last one because Ohio State's coming, and that could be, it's looking like as embarrassing as last year for different reasons. So, from Michigan Stadium, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Until then,
If you're lucky.
yeah. Until then, sayonara.